Hello, and welcome to Horror Monster Collectibles, where today we are going to be taking a look at Super7's brand new line, the pre-code horror ReAction figures. Now these are all the figures from Wave 1, and we have Graveyard Ghoul, Seaweed Monster, Radium Man, and Commander Ben Woodruff. Now the backstory on these guys is that in the 1940s and early 1950s, before the Comics Code Authority, the only limit on stories comic books could tell was the bounds of the creator's imagination. The results were comics that were so terrifying and controversial that Comic Codes Authority was formed in 1954. And Super7 is paying homage to those stories. These unfettered artists unleashed upon the masses with a lineup of these figures. And these are all inspired by the cover art from the comic books of the comic series from that era. And these are all about $20 each. And I think they're absolutely extremely well done. The cards on here look amazing. The artwork, the figures themselves, I'm super stoked for this. It's wild, it's weird, it's different. I have seen a couple of these comics from back in the day, and I am really excited to take a look at these figures. So let's dive into them one by one. All right, so first up, we are going to start with the Graveyard Ghoul. And let's take a look at the card art, which is just really well done. I love all the colors here. I love the artwork itself. It really pops, it stands out. And we'll look at the Ghoul himself. Now these are all going to remain in the packaging. Stuff like collectibles like this, you typically don't take out of the packaging. These are 3 3/4 figures, so you're not ever going to get a whole lot of articulation here. Typically they have 5 points, which is the neck, both shoulders, and the hips. So they're limited. And really the draw here is the figure and the card. But let's go ahead and take a close look at them. Paint job on here looks really good. There's actually several tones of green on the body, although the camera might not be picking all that up. But he's got an awesome sculpt to him. Look at the back of the card. Now the back of the card is the same for all 4 of the first wave. Let's look at the Graveyard Ghoul here, where the year is 1879 and the crime scene is a dark and desolate graveyard where this hairy and red-eyed fiend is captured, feasting on a dead human body. And you know, all of this art is a throwback to when I was a kid in the 70s, and then even long before me in the 60s and 50s and stuff like that. They had like all this art. You would find this in like magazines and stuff like that for like things that you can buy or whatever, like the infamous like X-ray glasses and stuff. So this is like a throwback to all of that stuff. All right, up next we have the Seaweed Monster. Start again with the card art. Again, awesome drawing on here and colorization. We have the beautiful woman in distress, and she is wearing a classic 50s swimsuit. Let's look at the Seaweed Monster himself. And there is lots of detail here. All the scaling on him. Again, he has just the 5 points of articulation. And then on the back, you'll see the Seaweed Monster story. Just off California coast, in the dark and murky waters on the Pacific Ocean, is where the eerie Seaweed Monster emerges from. In the cover of night, he searches for the next unsuspecting person to drag with him down to the whirlpool and far beneath the ocean surface where his secrets lie. All right, up next is probably my favorite, and that is Radium Man. I'm going to start again with the card, which, I mean, the artwork on here is just absolutely fantastic, dude. I mean, I'm loving it. That's an attention grabber, and that'll look badass on anybody's shelf. Let's go ahead and look at the sculpt and paint app itself. So you have good detail in here. Now these don't look as good as the Protos, but I feel like ReAction does a pretty decent job on coming pretty close to that for production. We have all his flesh melted off and the bones, his fingertips. And then his little tongue in there and stuff. And he looks just badass. And his little, this is the only one that has an accessory, and that is the Radium. So Radium Man, let's see. There is a mystifying chemical element known to science as radium. When an ordinary man comes in contact with it, the gamma energy irradiates his flesh, mutating him beyond recognition while bestowing upon him strange superhuman properties. And last but not least is Commander Ben Woodruff from Ghostly Weird Stories. But again, you know, the artwork, whoever is doing the artwork for them is just really killing it. And it's a throwback to just all of those 50s magazines and stuff. And then, you know, even like the trading cards from the 50s and stuff. You know, like Mars Attacks and everything like that. It's very reminiscent of those, in my opinion anyway. Take a look at the Commander himself. Which he looks like he's had a pretty bad time. I'll turn that back around and read his story. And his wanderlust drives him to return to space, but no earthly knowledge of rocket science or astrophysics can prepare Commander Ben Woodruff for the unpredictable danger that awaits in the dark caverns of the universe. Alright guys, so that's about all there is to go over on these. Hopefully you dig them as much as I do. Again, like, I think that these are just absolutely fantastic. They fit my collection perfectly. They're unique, they're different. They have artwork that just pops and stands out, and I love just unique pieces like this, and Super7 has just absolutely been killing it lately with all of their licenses and everything that they've been putting out. They're just on another level, honestly, and for them to do stuff like this and to pay homage to these original comics that were, you know, way out there, especially for the time, I think is absolutely fantastic. And I couldn't be more happy that they're, you know, taking this kind of stuff on and giving us collectors these figures. So as always, feel free to leave me questions or comments and I'll be happy to answer them. And also feel free to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications for new videos. And until next time, I will see you guys later.